Xana might be in the background of this because you really can't escape the camera in this room. There's nowhere to hide, really, so don't pick your nose on camera or anything.
I won't.
After the interesting discussion created by the rom-com favourites video, it became very obvious that I had to do a follow-up to this, because what most people wouldn't know about me is purely that my second favourite film genre is war films. Would you have guessed that about me? No. For those of you out there who don't really watch this kind of genre or haven't really explored this kind of genre, I think it's quite multifaceted. You've got different wars to cover. In particular, I really like the Second World War, both in terms of history and in film. Very similar to the last video, I'll do my top 5 and some honourable mentions of my favourite war films. Okay, let's get cracking. At number 5 is War Horse. Set in the First World War, it's about a horse and his owner and the way in which that all conspires. I really can't tell you very much about these films purely because it does give away a lot of the plot points, and I do not want to spoil these for anyone who wants to go and watch them. I think it's one of the easier watches for those of you who may not be into the genre yet or are still experimenting with finding what you like about the genre. I think War Horse is a really good beginner point because it is a story about love and family and a bond between a horse and his owner. Okay, at number 4 is Dunkirk, which was Christopher Nolan's latest film about Dunkirk, which was in the Second World War, based on true story. It's brilliant because there's a sheer lack of dialogue in this film, and I think that's perfect for a war film purely because who really gets the chance to sit around and chat when there is a major war going on? A lot of people didn't like it. Xana, did you say you didn't like it?
I thought that the threat of danger was like, it wore off very quickly because it was too much.
High.
Like there were no breaks from it.
There's an alternate opinion. It's quite similar with the rom-com genre and the war genre because they're both very subjective person to person. I find that I'm not a huge fan of films that are set Civil War era. I think because I'm less interested in those eras of history. They're so subjective as to what you like in terms of era, but also how you like your suspense and the action in it. I think it's really about experimenting with what you like in the genre. So as Xana said, you may not enjoy Dunkirk. I really liked it for how high the tension was the entire time. It's all very subjective. Number 3 is something I watched very recently. It's called Testament of Youth. Based on the memoirs of a woman in the Second World War. I've really loved it. It is about the Second World War, and that's a lot more personal based because it is based off a real memoir. It delves into the characters and less about the actual events of the war, which I think is another, if you like watching personal stories and if you like the rom-com genre and you like true romances, I think you would enjoy the devastating story of Testament of Youth. At number 2 is the classic The Great Escape. I think this may have been the film that got me into the war genre. It's classic prisoners of war trying to escape the war camp. It is brilliant. There's humour, there's sad moments, it's action filled. Steve McQueen on a motorbike is legendary, would thoroughly recommend. Okay, before I get to number 1, I'm gonna do that thing where I do honourable mentions. The Reader, Life is Beautiful, The Bridge Over the River Kwai, and The Grave of the Fireflies. At number 1 is Atonement, which is based obviously off of the book Atonement. It stars Keira Knightley, James McAvoy, perfect pairing, and a very, very young Saoirse Ronan, who is arguably one of my favourite actresses. Set in the Second World War. It is beyond devastating, but so well done. It is beyond, it's just, if you're gonna watch any one of these films, I'd say watch The Great Escape and Atonement. I think they're the biggest 2 in my head, obviously the 1 and 2 on the list, but would thoroughly recommend. Yeah, that is about it. Do let me know in the comments if there are any films that you would recommend, because obviously this is a very extensive subject and genre. Let me know if you watch any of these and what your thoughts are, because I'd love to hear about them. Xana, do you have any favourite war films? That has been VENATIN, and I will see you very soon. Bye. Ooh!